Right, so Gavin, we've been getting a lot of questions coming in from people that are interested in both the staking that we do and actually the coaching courses. And a lot of the people that contact us are just quite new to poker, and they're playing it's the 180 S&Gs, right? The $2 180s mainly, or
yeah, mainly that. But when the guys are applying to us, they're playing everything. They're all over the shop. So
right? Okay.
It's that we kind of narrowed it down to what they can play.
Yeah.
Kind of focus on something.
Right. So that's what we focus on mainly is the 180s and the 90s,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So, what would you say are some of the main sticking points for new guys getting into the game? What do you find holds them back the most?
As I just said, the first one is probably the game selection. Guys come to us and they say to us, "Oh, look, I'm not beating the games, I'm not making the money that I want, and this is what I want to do for my career." And then you look at what they're doing, and they're playing cash, they're playing spins, they're playing tournaments, they're playing sit and go, and it's all over the place. And it's very hard to perfect one skill when you're trying to do 5 or 6 at the same time. And when they're all over the time, you kind of do a bit of this, a bit of that. You need to home in on one and really focus and put all your effort into learning that one. If it's cash or spins, it doesn't really matter what it is. Ideally, it is for us 180s, and we can then really sort of like stop all the distractions of the other tournaments, and we can really focus on that.
Cool. So is that like the main issue that they have? Is it?
There's about 5 or 6 points, but that is almost guaranteed. First thing I look at, bang.
Right.
And I'm going to say that's your first problem. Let's focus on one and perfect one.
Right. Okay. So you said 5 or 6 points. I mean, let's work through those points. So if the first point is like game selection problems, what would be like the next one?
The second one would be the amount that's played, volume.
Right.
People are not educated when they're not, actual players already, not educated enough on volume. And you need to understand that playing let's say for 180s, you're playing 200, 300 a month. That's not going to cut it. It doesn't matter how good you are. 200 or 300 a month is not going to create an income for you where you can go and have your own apartment and do all the things you want to do. You need to say, right, I'm going to play 1,000 to 1,500 games a month. And until that point, you're not really going to understand what volume is. Volume needs to be, it's almost like putting in the hours. And if you're playing 2-3 hours a day, or you're into work 9 to 5, or you're only working in the mornings, and you're saying, well, I'm not making the money at my 9 to 5 job, but I'm only doing 2 hours work. You can't complain about that.
Yeah.
And anything within the space of 1,000 games, let's say 1,000 games in 180s, that's like a 90-minute football match. Anything can happen within that 90 minutes.
Yeah.
You can run well, you can play really well for 90 minutes, and
maybe speak a bit louder. I'm not sure what the volume's like.
okay,
So.
let's say you can play really well for 1,000 games.
Yeah.
But you can run badly. You can just be on badly. Now, if you're playing 300 games a month, that's 3 months worth of you playing well and not making money. On the other hand, you can play 1,000 games, you can play it badly, and you can run like God.
Yeah.
And you're playing it, and then all of a sudden you're going to hit a wall where it's just like bang. Well, why is it not working?
Right.
Because you're not putting in the time, and that's one of the most. That's something that people have to learn over time.
Right.
And it's also a massive factor for people who don't get staking deals and you don't understand why. That is one of the first things that guys look at. How many games you play in a month? 200. Sorry.
Okay. Right. So point 1 is game selection, focusing on one thing.
Yeah.
Point 2 is make sure that you're getting enough volume in each month.
Yeah.
What's the next point?
I would say
Come closer.
I would say really learning how to study on your own.
Right.
I don't know anyone. I've been doing staking for 8 years. I've been playing poker in the poker community for now 10 years. I've never met anyone who has been able to become really successful at this without learning how to study on their own. You can study, you can go to study groups, you can watch videos, and that does help you, and that will get you to a certain point. That will almost get you to a point where you're average. You know, you can, if you put in the time and the volume, you can probably churn out an okay amount of money, but you're never going to become really successful or make that really big, you know, become rich from poker, let's say.
Right.
So what you need to be able to do is like learning how to study on your own. You can, when you go to these study groups, learn how these guys are studying. Watch how these guys, if you're watching a video, let's say, from Run It Once or something like that, look at these guys and how they are reviewing their hand histories. You need to be able to sit there on your own for half an hour a day, and study your hands. It's like going to the gym, just keep on studying and studying and studying, and you'll be able to learn things on your own. And when you learn things on your own, they become a lot more valuable than sitting in the classroom kind of atmosphere or scenarios, let's say, and you're trying to pick something up that the coach has said.
So it's like anything else, you get people who just get obsessed with just keep studying stuff and reading books and things rather than actually getting out there, playing lots of games and then looking at their own hand histories and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you can... If someone comes to me and they're not doing those two things, I can I know in the first 2 weeks this guy hasn't got it. This guy's not going to do it. Even if he's really bad to start off with, like, oh wow, this guy's bad, but at the same time he's studying a lot and he's playing a lot. Yeah. So he's
going to get better.
Yeah, in the long term, his success rate is going to be, like, I would say, 8 out of 10 times that guy is going to be a success.
Right.
Unless, you know, mentally, you know, but generally 8 times out of 10.
Okay.
The guy who comes to me and says, oh no, well, you know, I'm running bad and I didn't really look, I haven't looked at my hand history since, and played a few games, but I've been a little bit busy. Yeah. That guy there is not going to do it. No. He'll probably be sort of like okay. You know, if he does really well, his success will be him still playing poker in 2 years. Right. That will be his success.
Okay. Right. I think that's point number 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what's the next one?
I would say making a sacrifice. Right. Learning how to make a sacrifice. And a lot of guys who get into it don't really understand what it means to make a sacrifice, and that, what I mean by that is that you're going to have to maybe say something in another area in your life, whether that's your social life, relationships and stuff like that. You know, you need to be able to say that, you know what, I'm not going to go out tonight, I'm not going to get tied up into a relationship with a girl or something, or a guy, and I'm just going to...
Big sacrifice, that one.
You know, you know, I mean, if you've already got a girlfriend or a boyfriend, then it's fine, and you're kind of like the fortunate one. Yeah. But if you're like a single person and you're trying to like get into a relationship, this is the worst.
Okay, so some social things you're going to have to cut out.
But I mean, for me personally, I remember when I was learning to play poker, I was doing a job where I would leave at 7 in the morning and come home at about 7:30 at night. Yeah. And when I would come home, I would load up like 1 or 2 tournaments. Yeah. And I would sleep between the beats. Yeah. And I would literally, I wanted it that badly. I wasn't winning the games. I wasn't beating the games. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But I wanted it so badly that I was after a 10-hour day at work. Beep beep beep. So that's. Yeah. And that wasn't, my friend was saying to me, let's go down the pub or something. Yeah. And I wasn't going to the pub, and I wasn't going out on Friday and Saturday night.
I think that period of sacrifice is only really at the beginning, right? Just to get that momentum going. Yeah. Once you've got some momentum going, you can.
Once you can say, like, I've got a handle in this, and this is going in the right direction. And you know, I'm starting to make some money, and I'm starting to move up the stake. And, you know, I've got staking deals, and I've got a coach now looking after me. Yeah. I'm putting in the time. Then you can start to, you know, have a bit more of what is considered a normal life, where it is, you know, having a bit of social life, and you can reap the benefits of having that poker lifestyle and a normal lifestyle.
Cool. All right. Next, I think point number 5, probably the last one, right?
No, there's a few more.
Okay, cool.
I would say the fifth one would be be bankroll management.
Right.
A very, very important bankroll management, because they're kind of what I used to do. You know, I used to have a 9 to 5 job where you do beginning or end of the month. You would put like a couple of $100 online on deposit down, and you'd be playing games that you can't really afford to play, or you're not good enough to beat. I was playing like $55 tournaments when I was working a 9 to 5. There was no way that I was good enough to beat those games, and you're also just like, well, if I lose, I'll just deposit a game. There needs to be a change of mentality of saying, okay, I need to be playing really low stakes, and I'm gonna use this money that I deposit like it's my last ever buy, like it's my last ever deposit. And you need to use it in a very smart way. And if you can, I mean, let's say a guy came to me, a couple of weeks ago, and he said to me, he said, I got $500. What game should I be? And I want to be playing like $5 and $11 tournaments. I'm like, at $2.180, you can drop $500 easy. That's 250 buy-ins. That's an easier standard. Like, that's not even playing badly. You could just be unlucky and drop $250, $500, $600. So that guy was playing, even though he thought he was being smart by having $500 with $5, $11 tournaments, he was still playing too high. And when you obviously got to teach guys who are not playing under stakes how to run and how to do the bankroll management. And a lot of guys, even at higher stakes, go bust because their bankroll management is bad. It's a skill, and it's one of the hardest disciplines as well of learning bankroll management. And I know as a backer, when I'm talking to my guys and I'm talking to them about their makeup, they think I'm a nit, or they think, oh, Gavin's such a nit, or he's been an arsehole. I'm not. I'm just more aware of what the swings are compared to you.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing it from so many different perspectives, right?
I've been around it a long time, and I've seen it go wrong so many times that when, I can spot the red flags, and when something's going wrong, or like, this keeps on going this way, this is going to happen. Yeah. And a lot of guys who are new...
Talk a little bit louder because of the...
A lot of the guys who are new... and they're always going into new territory when they're moving up. Yeah. They're like, this is new territory for me. Going up from $22 to $55, that's new territory.
Do they tighten up a bit when they go up? Or?
No, they don't. No. But they kind of don't really realise that the variance gets bigger. Right. And the games get tougher, and the period between making money gets bigger. So you can be printing at low stakes, and you're thinking, oh, this is alright, this is great. I just do the same thing at $55 and it's going to be fine. But let's say you say to a guy who plays $55, hey, you can drop 20k here. They're like, oh, yeah, nah. And it's always that attitude of, it won't happen to me. Yeah. It won't happen to me. And when it does start to happen to people, they start to panic, and you see them freaking out, and they start snapping at you, and thinking, okay, now I can see that you are now getting worried about this. Right. So
and everyone has to kind of go through that period at some point, right?
You have to learn it. I like it for guys to have that bad period right at the beginning. Yeah. Because if you have a guy who's at micros and he's playing well and struggling and low, he understands what it means to play well and run bad and have that variance. Where I've had guys in the past where they have literally signed up with me, and within 2 or 3 weeks they're killing it and they're crushing it, and they do that for 3 months, and they just shoot right through the stakes. And what happen is they never know what it means to lose, and they experience it. And when I've had guys who have got pretty high, and then they just go like, you just dropped 300 buy-ins, and they're like, I've never dropped 300 buy-ins, and it's like, wow, that's amazing that you've got through from like micros to almost low/medium stakes, and you've never dropped 300 buy-ins. That's insane. Yeah. But I've had experiences like that where guys have just they don't experience failure early on, so they never know when it comes up into them, it creeps up in them, and it takes them by surprise.
Right. Cool. So, is there anything else? Another point? I think you said there was another one.
Yeah, the most important thing it's the most important one. Find a mentor. Find either a mentor or a coach. Yeah. The thing that changed it for me was finding that coach. I quit my job, and I thought I was good enough to be a professional poker player. And I remember I sat down the first couple of days and realised, well, I actually really suck at this, and I had to go and get a coach. And when I got a coach, that kind of changed things. It stopped me losing, and then eventually I got from losing to break even, and then turned into break even into a winning player eventually. But that was the most important thing. Find someone who's going to be able to coach you and mentor you, and be able to look after all the points that I've mentioned. Be able to teach you about those, or educate you along that point.
And even just get someone, maybe an accountability buddy or something like that as well.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah.
But I mean, with all those other things I've spoken about, they haven't really got anything to do with the theory.
Yeah.
So you need someone there who's able to help you there with the theory and teach you about the five or six things I've just mentioned.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to do that. But that is that will definitely. It won't be the 100% answer, but it will definitely be a shortcut or speed the process up of you trying to become a professional poker player.
Okay. Cool. So, all right, guys. I think that's it for now, right? I think we just finish off our coffee now. We're in the beautiful Budapest. So look, below the video, we're going to have some links for. I think there's a Samurai Staking Instagram link down there. We've also got a link for the membership program that we're running right now. Depending on when you view this video, there might be some other stuff down there as well. So like and subscribe to this video, and we'll see you in the next one.